Yo, what is up, guys? We are now live. I think we are. This is Jay the Great here. Welcome back to another podcast. We were out for a week, but we are back with another episode to answer plenty of questions and, you know, stir up plenty of controversy and just really get the mind stimulated with plenty of anime talk, power scaling, etc. I'm just gonna let the people know that we are live and we are thriving. Let the people know real quick, and we shall begin. Let the people know here. Give me a second, folks, and we shall begin. We shall begin. All right, we are live, folks. I had you folks ask me some questions, and a few of you did, so I appreciate the questions. So let's get straight into that. Give me a second here. Find the questions that I have here, and we shall begin here. Make sure to hit the like button, folks, to get us up in the algorithm, of course, and hit the sub button if you haven't already. So let us begin. So first question that you guys asked, who had the more convoluted interpretation of peace? Was it Madara Uchiha from Naruto, or was it Light Yagami from Death Note? Now that's an actual pretty good question, right? That's a pretty good question, and this is my answer to that question. I would argue Light Yagami was more of a tyrant than Madara was, all right? And here's why. Madara Uchiha wanted to achieve peace through the removal of free will via infinite Tsukunome, as you guys know if you watch Naruto. And while he did have a god complex like Light Yagami did, Light wanted to achieve peace by strong-arming everyone on Earth through the use of the Death Note. Madara is an easier villain to sympathize with and understand with because of his understandable ideology, where the goal is having everyone be in eternal peace without having anyone go and endure any bodily harm or mental harm or anything of that nature. Light, on the other hand, was using fear and intimidation as if he were some dictator to achieve his own distorted vision of peace. So essentially, folks, well, thanks for the dollar, Luis. I appreciate it. Thanks for the dollar. What's going on? Appreciate any subscriptions, by the way, folks. Excuse me, donations. So thanks for the dollar, Luis. But like I was saying, Light Yagami had more selfish aspirations, right? Madara Uchiha saw the flaw in his own intangible reality. The flaw being the infinite cycle of love and hate, right? He saw that cycle, and in his eyes, there was no way to break it, right? So he was coming from a place of, I would say, good intention. Was his ideology perfect? No. Is it understandable? Yes. Light Yagami, on the other hand, honestly was just a prodigy, intellectual prodigy that was bored. Yeah, he had some sort of justice, you could say, at the very beginning, right, when he was still kind of pure-hearted. But I think his selfish aspirations quickly overtook his sense of justice. That's what the difference was between him and Madara Uchiha. You could argue, yeah, Madara was selfish, right? He wanted to do things only his way. But his way is somewhat understandable, right? He wanted to put everyone in an infinite trance of eternal peace and bliss. If you think about it, it's not that bad, right? It is a moral dilemma. But what Light wanted is tyrannical, right? He was a tyrant. And that was a downfall of him, was his selfish aspirations. Eventually, it wasn't even about justice. It was about being the top dog. That's what it was about for Light Yagami, right? Peace was out the window. It was about winning. He wanted to win at all costs. So much, in fact, that he killed the world's greatest detective and just delayed the inevitable, which was him getting caught. Because if he wanted to, if he approached it a different way, if he didn't have any selfish aspiration, he could have simply made a better place for the world. He simply could have done so. But he chose the route that he chose, and he died because of it. Right? He died because of it, because he was selfish that way. So that was his own misdoing. So Light was definitely the more evil character. Light Yagami was definitely more evil, I'd say. That was a good question, though. So next question that people ask me, what are your top 3 best written characters? Can I ask you any questions right now? Yeah, you can. You donated, so I'll answer yours first. By the way, folks, if you guys have just any questions, donations will make your question a priority. So just so you know, like on the screen that says right here. So how was your week? It was all right. It was busy as usual. Trying to stay productive, you know. That's all we can do these days. Just trying to keep the ambition high, productivity high. Just keep the train rolling, you know. All right, so the next question was, what are your top 3 best written characters in anime? So this is mine. Obviously, this is all bias, right? This is all bias. So number 1, Vegeta. This is not in order, by the way. I didn't order these guys. Vegeta. Number 2, I got Kakashi. And number 3, I got Eren Yeager. So I'll explain each one. Some people are going to ask me, how do you like Vegeta more than Goku? I just think Vegeta is more complex and he's more relatable. Goku has a level of chivalry and, what's the word I'm looking for? Just indifference that a normal human doesn't have, right? Like, he doesn't really take anything serious unless it's like Frieza killing Krillin or Jiren almost killing his fucking friends in the Tournament of Power. Besides that, you never really see him really lose his cool, right? And that's not relatable as humans. It's not relatable. So Vegeta is definitely more complex, and he's much more relatable than Goku, in my opinion. He has the same pride, which every man, woman, anyone should try to aspire to have a pride of that level that pushes you, right? He always wants to improve. Not to say Goku doesn't, but Vegeta is more vocal on that. He's always improving, right? He's always improving, and he never settles. He's always improving, which is why he has ultra ego now. He's a god. Him and Goku, both of them are gods. The whole Saiyan thing is very, I would say, inspirational, right? The Saiyan way, the same pride. So I really relate to Vegeta in that way, and I actually am inspired by Vegeta, to be honest. And not to mention, he's just really cool, his personality, etc. So that's why I like Vegeta more than Goku. He's more relatable. Now, Kakashi, most of you guys could agree, Kakashi's one of the greatest. Kakashi had an evolution, right? A metamorphosis. As a kid, he was kind of similar to Sasuke. He's very quiet, especially after the death of his father. He went dark for a while. He went kind of cold, and Obito, right? Obito giving them that talk during the Third Great Ninja War when Rin was captured really changed him. And seeing Obito die, well, seemingly die, obviously he didn't, but that changed Kakashi into who he became, right? He became a very noble man, right? And his evolution is very relatable, or it should be, right? If you're in a place where you don't like, Kakashi is the type of person you want to follow, right? He's changed, and he's a very powerful individual, just power scaling wise, clearly. So Kakashi's definitely up there as well. And finally, Eren Yeager. Now, I gotta say, Attack on Titan, was one of the best anime I've ever seen. The plot was spectacular. Eren Yeager is extremely relatable, right? He was a product of his environment by the end of Attack on Titan. Very pure-hearted, noble, heroic at the beginning. By the end of it, he was a different person. It's like the brutality of war changed him, and it made him realize that there is no being a hero in war, right? That's not going to change anything, at least in his eyes now. That's his mindset. So I think his evolution was very, very well done. So, all right, let's see what you guys have said. Vegeta's miles better than Goku, yeah. Minato, Itachi, and Vegeta are up there. Yeah, Minato's a good character too, and Itachi. Who would win in a fight, Baryon, Naruto with no after damage, or current Luffy? Admittedly, I haven't seen One Piece, so I can't answer that. Minato versus Tobirama, Minato. Alright, so next question. So these aren't power scaling based, but by the way, folks, if you guys that just joined, donations take priority. So if you donate and ask a question, I'll answer that first. So someone asked me, what got you into anime, and subsequently, what got you into power scaling and debating? Okay, so what got me into anime was Naruto. I was a younger kid, a few years ago now. I got introduced to Naruto, I think randomly. It wasn't even friends or anything. I just got involved in it. I really fell in love with the plot and the whole thing that Naruto represented, thematically, and obviously aesthetically, it was very pleasing as well. All the fights, even from the very start, with Zabuza, all the way up to now. It definitely caught my attention. And when it comes to power scaling and debating, I've always been a person with a competitive nature. So I was just on YouTube looking up Naruto, and I think Swag was the first person that introduced me to that world. I started watching Swag Kage, and then I saw some videos with him and Seth. Seth caught my eye because he's very intellectually sound. Started watching his stuff, and then everyone else, right? Six, all those other people. And then I started to tell myself maybe I could do this. I have a lot to say, so I started my own channel and just went from there. So I've seen the goods and the bads of the community. I've seen the very good discourse that can take place in the community, and I've seen the very toxic bullshit that can take place as well. So I've seen both sides, but I'm competitive in nature, so I'm all for it. If you guys have asked any questions. No new questions. Feel free to ask questions, folks. You don't have to donate. That's just if you want me to answer right away. You can ask either way. So someone asked, are there future projects you're interested in for the channel? So currently, I'll just let you guys know what my next video is going to be. It's going to be why is Sakura so hated? That's my next project. I want to make it insightful, concise, but interesting. I want to give my own unique take on it. Get more in depth behind the whole hate for Sakura, right? There's definitely reasons for it. And in that video, I'm gonna try to be neutral. I do dislike Sakura myself, but I'm gonna try to be neutral, and even maybe defend her in the video. We'll see. But so that's my next current project. But however, I do want to get into other topics eventually. I'm actually quite the comic book enthusiast, like DC, Marvel, Batman, Joker, Superman. Like, I'm quite the enthusiast in that department as well. So maybe in the future I'll make some videos on that. I think I have a lot to say on those, more narratively rather than power scaling, but I'll do that as well. And as far as these podcasts, I want to keep being more creative and making the podcast more and more entertaining as time goes on. I'll figure out new things to do, new ways to operate the podcast, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so basically I want to experiment. Short story. It's long story short. Alright, so what do you guys have asked? Killer Bee versus Jiraiya. Alright, so Killer Bee versus Jiraiya. Let's think about it, right? Jiraiya scales to Orochimaru. Orochimaru was stated to still be stronger than Sasuke, even with EMS, I believe. So even when Kabuto was defeated, so Ugetsu said, though, you're still not strong enough, right? Basically was implying. So I would say Jiraiya, full power, most likely defeats Killer Bee. Most likely. What if Zabuza and Haku lived and became good? I don't know if Zabuza's the type of guy to become good, because the only reason that he kind of switched sides or his ideology changed was because Haku died and Naruto got to him. That was the catalyst for his change. But if they did, maybe they'd help the Mist Village clean up. I know it was called the Blood Village or the Blood Mist Village because of all the death that took place with young shinobi having to kill each other to establish superiority. So maybe they would help stop that. But yeah, something like that would happen. Maybe they'd help Kakashi out. So basically. Alright, folks, feel free to ask questions now. Let me see if I have any others that people asked previous to the stream beginning. Let's see here. I think I had a few more. Actually, I gotta give my Bleach update. So I'm quite a ways into Bleach now. I'm about 80 episodes in, I believe. I'm on the part where the bounce, I think that's what they call it, the bounce, I think, something like that. Ichigo had to battle the Bount, the strongest Bount. That one Bount chick died fighting the strongest Bount. And I know Uryu lost his, well, they're implying that he still has his, how did I forget the name? His Quincy powers still. Ichigo's power scaling progression is insane. It's pretty insane how powerful Ichigo has become in just 80 episodes. I think about 50 or 60, he fought Kenpachi. And I know a lot of you guys thought he gets stronger, but even stalemating or slightly defeating Kenpachi is insane. It's insane. Kenpachi seems like a fucking monster. I mean, he joined, you know, the captain squad by just being more powerful than everybody else. Right? He's the only one that doesn't have a Bankai, according to them, from what I know currently. So him being stalemated by Ichigo is fucking insane. And that's Ichigo with how much training? 10 days of training before they went to the Soul Society to try to save Rukia? That's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. And then he fights Rukia's brother and almost beats him with his when he gets his Bankai. That's fucking crazy. Right? I really like Aizen. I know I haven't seen anything of what he's going to become. He just escaped the Soul Society by tricking everyone that he died. That was fucking crazy. Aizen's a fucking monster. I could see why people appeal to him. He's a fucking monster. So I really fuck with Aizen. I really like Ichigo. I like the whole spirit energy thing. It kind of reminds me of chakra or your power level in Dragon Ball. So I'm really fucking with Bleach right now. Bleach is really, really good. It was kind of dull at the beginning, admittedly, but it's heating up now with, you know, all the Soul Society being introduced. I really enjoy it. So that's my update on Bleach so far. If you have any Bleach questions, go ahead. I'm not an expert yet. I need to finish it. But if you have any Bleach questions, feel free to ask. Early Bleach, and I'll try to answer it. Let's see. EMS Sasuke versus KCM1 Naruto. Well, they're implied to be relative. If you see throughout the war arc, they're basically going toe-to-toe, same speed, same AP, everything, against Jubito specifically. So if they were to fight each other, the scenario would really matter. If there's lives on the line and Sasuke uses that to his advantage to try and handicap Naruto, Sasuke might win. If they're fighting in a neutral environment where Naruto's bloodlusted, I think Naruto would take it. I think he has more chakra reserve. Maybe he would just outlast Sasuke, if anything. So it really depends on the environment. It's closely contested, though. Do you remember shows like Zoe 101, Wizards of Waverly Place? Oh, yeah, I do. I grew up with that stuff. I think like my middle school years. You know, like late elementary, early middle school. I used to watch a lot of those shows. They're all goated, for sure. They're all goated. Let's see. Do you go to a regular gym or a boxing gym? Right now, I just kind of shadow box these days. I don't really go to an actual gym. I hung up the gloves a while ago for now. Because I'm busy, you know. But I go to a regular gym for now. Keep the body optimal levels, you know. Keep it at an optimal level. What if Krillin killed Vegeta during the Saiyan saga? Wow, if he killed Vegeta, that would change the narrative tragically. I would even argue that Goku's power scaling progression would not be as vast because I think Vegeta pushes him. Although he doesn't admit it, I think it does push him, similar to how Vegeta is pushed by Goku. So I would say Vegeta is a big catalyst to why Goku's evolution as a Saiyan took place. He would still get stronger, but I think if Krillin were to kill Vegeta, with Vegeta being that competition that Goku needs, it would actually be detrimental. So that, and we'd never have Trunks. We'd never have Gotenks. Nothing, you know, because Trunks would have never existed. Vegeta would have never got with Bulma. None of that shit would have taken place. So a lot of shit would have changed. A lot of shit would have changed. So it's good that he didn't die. That's for sure. Let's see here. Let me try to take some of these off real quick. Not that. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that, folks. Let's see what other questions you folks have here. Let's see. Childhood crush. Let's see. My childhood crush. Probably. Trying to think who would be my childhood crush. Maybe Megan Fox from Transformers. I mean, she was bad. That was the peak of women back then. She's still pretty bad now. Feel free to ask questions, folks. What's going on, Sean? Thanks for coming in. We're currently talking anime. Feel free to ask any questions you folks may have, of course. Thanks for coming in. Batman versus Naruto. Prep time. That's all I could say. Prep time. And also, there's two aspects that would change the trajectory of who wins. Prep time. Thanks for the $1, Sean. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate it. Prep time and how chemistry from the Narutoverse interacts with chemistry from the DC universe, right? Because you can't just assume that chemistry, the laws of physics, the laws of gravity, all these laws, and just everything in general, you can't assume that they're equivalent. There's no way to do so, right? They're different universes. So if they operate similar, then Batman would be able to deduce how chakra works. If he has prep time, you're assuming he has prep time. So you assume that with prep time, he'll understand Naruto's physiology, his chakra, and who knows, maybe he'll synthetically replicate something of Neji's ability. He'll synthetically replicate 64 Palm, and he shuts down Naruto's chakra network with prep time. So I think Batman with prep time and that other prerequisite wins. Without that, Naruto would win. Without prep time, he'd lose as well. So, best advice you would tell your younger self? Best advice would be more confident, I think. I think a lot of kids don't have confidence, especially men, or they're not men yet, but young men. A lot of them lack confidence, which is detrimental. I got 3 questions of certain topics. That's fine. Hard to answer, but how about Sakuno Hatake versus Hanzo? Well, that is a good question, right? Because Sakuno Hatake was stated to eclipse that of the legendary Sannin, and Hanzo beat the Sannin. That's a tough question. There is no real feats for Hatake, right? There is from Hanzo. But, yeah, that is a tough one. I'm going to have to use headcanon. I'd say Prime Hanzo. Probably Hanzo. Prime Hanzo. Just because there is feats for him. Batman always has prep time. If he doesn't, he runs away. Yeah, if he sees that the threat is too vast, he will, take the high road and run off, which he should. I mean, if he takes Superman head on without prep time, he's dead. All right. The reason he beat him is because he has contingency plans. Edo Madara versus Edo Minato. Edo Madara. I think there's this fallacy, right, that speed triumphs all, right? If you have superior speed, you automatically win. That's not necessarily the case. Tobirama stayed to have more speed than Madara during their heyday, yet Madara will beat him. Hashirama would beat him. That's common knowledge, right? So just because someone's faster doesn't mean they'll win automatically. They have to be significantly faster to win, right? There has to be a significant gap in speed for that to be the case. If you're saying who would win, Flash or fucking the regular average Joe, obviously Flash will win, right? So speed isn't the end-all be-all in things like anime, unless it's vast. And at that point, the better debater will have to establish that arbitrary gap. So, Asuma versus Zabuza. Part 1 of Kakashi was superior to Asuma. Kind of want to lean towards Zabuza. Kind of tend to lean. I think he's closer in ability to Kakashi than Zabuza, at least part 1. Let's see any other questions. Feel free to ask questions, folks. Feel free to ask questions. Taking one and all. Where's the one I want? Let me keep this message up. Whoops. Sorry, folks. I'm looking for the right message. I don't memorize them. That's the one. Part 1, Kakashi versus a Sound 4. All Sound 4, 1-on-1, 1v4. I think his stamina would be an issue. Stamina might be an issue. Alright, if you could pick any guy from Naruto, which one would you pick? From any eye from Naruto, any dojutsu. Probably Sasuke's Rene Sharingan. Probably that one. Or Ishiki's. Nah, Ishiki's powers are boring. Again, folks, donation questions take priority. I also do reaction requests via donation. Just ask me the video you want me to react to, and I'll give you a price. So that if you're interested. Or in general, if you have a request, ask me. Don't just donate, because if it's something stupid, I won't do it anyway. So, just so you guys know. I did a request last podcast because someone paid for it. I did it, you know. So, yeah. Okay. Appreciate the dollar, Luis. Oh, you asked a question? Let me see. If an ex-girl says she loves you but not in love with you, is that cap? And if she says she got drunk and had sex with one of her female friends, is that cap? Here's the thing you got to understand about women. I can keep it short and simple. Women are not going to be honest with you through words the majority of the time. The only way you can validate that their words are the truth is through their actions. So, the flaking thing, the I love you but I'm not in love with you thing. If their actions don't validate that, then they're capping. You can come into any interaction with a female that you want romantic relationship with, you can assume that. We as men have to come into assuming that. You have to come into there assuming that, because if you don't, you're going to get fucking played. You know, women are better socially calibrated. That, and they're the ones that are the ones being approached. They don't have that burden, right? They don't have the burden of proof, I guess you could say. They have no burden of proof. They don't have to prove shit these days. Unless you're a high value guy and you have options. They're going to have to, or you're going to go to the next. But if you're an average guy, they don't have to show you shit, right? Because you're the one approaching. They're the ones that have to accept it, right? So actions will validate consistency, right? Loyalty, those are the biggest things with women. They have to show that through action. Their words don't mean shit, honestly. Their word ain't shit. So they ain't showing the action, they're capping. It is what it is. You're better safe than sorry. That's all I can say. I love your content, man. I appreciate it, Sean. In your opinion, you're way more enjoyable to listen to than Seth or even Swag. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the content. For sure, man. Appreciate that. I would say Seth and Swag are more just anime related. And I know Seth's style. Seth is kind of like a trolling bully. Not in a bad way. I fuck with Seth, but, you know, he just plays around more. I like to get more to the nitty gritty. And Swag is just an anime guy. He really doesn't talk or stream or anything, but yeah, I appreciate it for sure. They're both, from what I know of them, they're very intelligent guys, but yeah, they're just different. I try to connect with the subscribers more, I guess you could say. If she blocks and unblocks you, is that some bullshit? Yeah. As soon as she blocks you, it's over. Don't even waste your fucking time. You're wasting your time. Chasing is a waste of time. You shouldn't be chasing. The only chase should be the initial encounter when you meet them. Of course, you gotta chase them because you gotta go and you're the one approaching, right? Basically, the man's the lion, the woman's the gazelle. Not in a malicious way. I mean, like as far as the dating nature goes, that's just the natural order of things. So that's the only chasing you should do. After that, right? Be chivalrous. Do what a man has to do, right? Be respectful, of course, but don't take bullshit. If there's flaking, bullshit, it's over. Cut it off. You're wasting your time. You're wasting energy, and you better not be wasting money, because that's even stupider. If they're flaking and shit and not showing validation, you're wasting money and time, and then you're the simp. So don't waste your time. Baryon Naruto versus Raditz. That is contentious, because it depends on how you scale Baryon Naruto. I would say Ishiki could be close to solar system level. That is contentious. Kaguya is at bare minimum star level, I'd say. She was almost engulfed a whole dimension, with the size of the dimension being arbitrary, but there were several planets, right? Several planets there. So I would say she's at least star level, and Ishiki, I would say, is substantially stronger than her. So you could argue he's in that range of large star level to solar system. I don't think Raditz was quite that level, so I would say Baryon Naruto might beat him. just because of the vast increase in power from Kaguya all the way up to Ishiki. He could possibly win, right? There is no way to truly determine the numerical value of Naruto's AP, but I think it's quite vast if I had to make a guess. You have such a humble standpoint on anime and topics in general. I recommend your channel to all the homies. Appreciate it. Appreciate that, man. That means a lot, of course. That's all you can do, you know. It is cool to be an authoritative figure in the anime community, right? You gotta have the intellectual prowess for it, but you gotta have an open mind in anime, because anime is malleable. The writers could change things at any moment. There's some things that probably won't change, like obviously Toriyama putting a numerical value on Super Saiyan 1. That'll never change because he actually put a value on it, but there are things that are malleable, and you can't go around like some people we know, like someone that I reacted to recently, who says their stance is irrefutable on contentious topics. That's not a good standpoint to have. That's a very ratty standpoint and very disingenuous, I'd say. So, would you rather want respect and love from a girl? This is the cold truth. You're not gonna have love without respect. In fact, I'd rather be respected and disliked than liked and have no respect. Respect is more important than being liked. To be loved, you have to be respected. People can like you and not love you, but people can't love you and not respect you. That's the fact. That's a fact. That's just not women. That's men, friends, mentors, co-workers, anything. They could like you and not respect you. It happens all the fucking time. But if they don't respect you, they'll never love you. That's a fact. And for women, they have to respect and admire you. Only way. That's the only way. So that's way more important. That love doesn't even happen without respect. And that's a fact, whether women want to admit that or not. That's a fact. Alright, folks. Let's see if you have any other questions here. Keep asking questions, folks. Let me see if I have anything for you guys while you guys do that. Going to festival, how would you recommend I approach women in general? It really is a game. A game you have to have a very careful approach in. So, when approaching a woman, you can't be too overbearing, but you can't be too timid because they'll smell that as weakness, right? So, you gotta have a confident demeanor, but be very casual about it. Don't make it a big deal. Make it seem organic to the woman. Then they'll be comfortable with you. Once they're comfortable, and if they see you as desirable, right? If you have the right demeanor, then they start looking at you in a different way, and then they're testing you. They want to see how dominant you are, what you have to offer to the table. Are you too timid, etc. So, the initial approach is very, very key. If you fuck that up, you're not gonna have a chance unless you're fucking Drake or something. They don't care what you do if you're Drake at that point. But that's 0.001% of the population. So casual or confident, not too timid, not too overbearing. Keep it concise, keep it simple. Keep her wondering. Mystery is very enticing to women, I'll say that. Do you want kids one day? Maybe in the foreseeable future. Definitely not in certain states like California or New York. I would want them in a neutral state with freedom, but that don't want to be political. Would you be open to reacting to a death battle video? It's a good idea. Possibly. I know those do very well. Thanks for the advice. Of course, just you learn on the fly, I'd say. And I'm no guru, right? But you learn on the fly, that's all I could say. Anyone else, folks? If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm answering all questions. So anime, whatever you please. That's why I'm here. Anime, real life, comics, fucking whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Donations obviously take priority. If you want me to answer right away. Dream collab tracks you would want right now. Probably like Drake and J. Cole. They had a song from way back on the day. It's on SoundCloud. It's called In the Morning. Shit was fire. Who else? Maybe Kendrick and Drake. Jack Harlow and J. Cole. Jack Harlow is promising. Have you ever been cheated on, and if so, how did you handle it? Yes, I have. I have been cheated on. I cut her off immediately, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. There was a couple months every day I wanted to text her back, but you gotta be the bigger man. Never texted her back. Moved on. So that's the best way to approach it. Beerus versus Broly. Well, Goku implied in the Broly movie, that he might be stronger than Beerus, right? However, that's not concrete, and that's not something you can use as irrefutable evidence to suggest that Beerus is weaker than Broly. It's hard because it's hard to quantify, right? Here's the thing: in the Battle of Gods movie, we stated that Beerus used 70% of his power when he fought Goku. And that was Goku when he first achieved God mode, or Super Saiyan God with God Ki. However, I don't know how you would quantify the rest of that 30%. Some would argue that's not a lot. If he's already using 70% that early on, Goku has to be near his power. But some other people would refute and say, well, 1% of Beerus could be 100% of Goku. There's no way to quantify it, but I would say Beerus is still stronger for now. I don't think there's enough narratively to imply that Broly is stronger than Beerus. So, Jodeci freestyle. I think I've heard that. All right, well, you folks ask more questions. There's actually something I wanted to bring up, and it's related to comics since someone asked about Batman. So I went on a DC watching spree. I didn't realize the gold mine that HBO Max presents with DC movies. So I watched a shitload of DC films, I think on Saturday, and I finally watched Injustice. And it really opened my eyes to what Joker is. Joker really is damn near a perfect villain, right? He realized, so spoiler alert, by the way, if you don't know what Injustice is, I'm sure most of you do. You played the video game or you know the story. Joker realized that Batman he's incorruptible. You can't corrupt Batman, right? At least in this alternate universe. He realized that Batman is not corruptible. You can't break him. He's the epitome of justice. So who did he go to instead? He went to Superman and pushed his buttons. Killed Lois Lane. Killed their unborn child. Nuked Metropolis. He nuked Metropolis entirely. All to piss off Superman. That's why he did it, right? So he gets caught. So Batman's talking to Joker, and he asks him, why did you do it? This is between us. He said, I never win with you, so I had to attack someone else. And it was like taking candy from a baby. Batman actually believed that Superman wouldn't break. He said he's the best man I know. He was wrong. Joker was right. The perfect chaos created the perfect storm. Superman killed him. He killed Joker, cold blood. Then he started his tyrannical debacle, trying to put his fist down and fucking control all of Earth. Batman had to stop him. It really was a poetic story. If you haven't seen it, you should. It was spectacular, I'd say. Injustice was very good. It really illuminated Joker's amazing ability to really be evil. I mean, the guy's he's ironically spectacularly evil, which is insane. So Joker really is the epitome of what a villain is. That was well done by DC. If only they could do that in live action, which they fucking can't for some reason. You always blow it. But yeah, so DC is fire, at least animation wise. Would you want to see a Zoe 101 reboot? I know it's on Netflix now. I think the person that played Zoe, is all pregnant and all fucked up, like her sister Jamie Spears. I don't know if I'd want to see a reboot of that. Even the iCarly reboot, it was alright. I saw a couple episodes just because of nostalgia, but it was okay. It was alright. You can never replicate the original. It's very rare to either equal or triumph an original. Like Boruto, it's never going to be better than Naruto. Never. It's never going to. So, it is what it is. Let's see if anyone else has ask any questions here. DC is goated. Yes, it is. It is. It definitely is. What members of the Ginyu Force could nail defeat? I don't think I'm familiar with nail. How do you handle someone not going to be in your life anymore after 2 years? I believe that the good times are not who they were. Their true nature comes out when they don't want you. Reality is, I would say, your heart just kind of goes, it just goes cold towards it, towards that person. Eventually it goes away. It fades away. And maybe it's a little bit's always going to be there, but it gets put in the back nine, of your memory bank. This gets to the back. It just takes time. Oh, that nail. Okay. The Namekian fused with Piccolo. How far does he get in the Ginyu Force? Kind of remember what this guy did. It's been a long time. Let me see here. His feats. Here he is. So, if I'm not mistaken, it's been quite some time. Was that the same? I believe that was the same Piccolo that was able to contend with version 2 Frieza, unless he was even stronger by then. If that's the case, then he probably beats most of them. If he's as strong as he was when he fought Frieza. Let's see here. If anyone asks questions here. Someone asked, what fan base has the most toxic power scaling community? Well, there's some very toxic communities. Naruto's definitely up there. We know some big named rats in the community for sure. The Kakashi bullshit. Multiversal Naruto is bullshit. There's a lot of horse shit in the community. Probably Naruto, yeah. Probably Naruto community. There's a lot of rats in that community. Do you believe men heal or just move on quicker than women? Do you believe women move on faster? On a balance of probabilities, women by far move on faster. Why? Because they have more options. And they're less sympathetic, I'd argue, than men. Not because they're bad people, but it's just biological. They instinctually look for protection, and if they don't get that, they move on. So definitely women. By far, it's not even close. Any other questions here? Feel free to ask any questions, folks. This pod doesn't seem as lit as the last, but hey, it is what it is, right? Keep moving on. Let's see here. Any other questions? I think I had some here that I have saved. But yeah, DC needs to up their game in the live action films. That's where their flaw is. It's the live action. They've been subpar, so you got more work to do. You got more work to do for sure. How far have you made it into Bleach? I'm pretty far into it. I'm about 80 episodes in. I'm on the part where they're fighting the Bounce. One of the Bounce just died fighting the strongest Bounce. I forgot the guy's name. There's just so many fucking names. Uryu, it seems to be implied that he might get his Quincy powers back. Ichigo's strong as hell now. I think like 50 episodes in, he like stalemated Kenpachi, which is insane. He gained a Bankai when apparently it takes like many years to get a Bankai. He did it in like fucking a few days. Ichigo is the real deal, man. His power scaling progression is really fast. Really fast. Some of the fastest increase in power I've ever seen. I mean, he's fighting captains. He's competing with captains. Kenpachi, Byakuya, like damn, the guy is a monster. The kid is a monster. So Ichigo is the real deal in that universe for sure already. And I'm only 80 episodes in, so. Hedon versus Tenten. 10-10. I'm sorry. Would you make a video with Naruto Explained? Naruto Explained seems like a really cool dude. I know he did a video with Seth, but they were debating. It's a really old video. It's like kind of obscure. You gotta go look for it. They were like debating about a tier list, but he seems really cool. Bleach has some amazing music as well. Yeah, it does. It does. What characters would you like to see canon? Cooler, Turtles. I kind of like Cooler. Android 21 is cool too, though. But I think Cooler if I had to choose anyone. By the way, I know some of you folks saw my reaction. I finally reacted to Seth versus Kabuki and Afro on Minato versus the Akatsuki. I was just angry watching that because they could have countered Seth better, you know. But I know they're not debaters, they're not power scalers, they're just like regular content creators that do it more for the casuals. It was like, damn, I really wanted to see them counter him better because there were counters to be made against Seth, you know. And that wasn't even Seth's real stance. He was just doing that to be devil's advocate. Yo, what's going on, Gem Cloud? Thanks for coming in. Just asking anime questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask any questions you may have. Krillin versus Tien Cell arc. I think Tien did all right against some version of Cell, if I'm not mistaken. He fought, I think it was let's see, versus Cell. Which Cell did he do okay against? It was semi-perfect Cell. I think he has better feats than Krillin, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen the arc. Any debate that involves Kabuki's hilarious. Kabuki's, he's something else. He's an ad nauseum debater. All he does is repeat the same shit. In your debate reactions, you quickly break things down. Why not debate more for the channel? What's going on, Positive Attitude Holmes? Thanks for coming in. Just ask any anime questions you may have. Yeah, you're right. I do break them down pretty quickly. However, I need to find the right opponents. Because this is what I could do, right? There's a lot of people that want to debate me. I'm not going to lie. I'd probably destroy them. And I could put that up for views. But I wouldn't want to do that. I want competition. You know, I want someone that's comparable. That has the resume or that I know is knowledgeable. I want to make it entertaining. Because if it's just me slapping someone, it's like, what's the point, you know? So, you against Swakage would be an amazing debate. Swakage, I would say, is not really a debater. Like, he knows probably almost more than anyone about Naruto. However, his rhetoric, I would say, from what I've heard, isn't Seth level. I mean, Seth is the best. Don't get me wrong. He's the best I've ever seen in anime, at least. But, yeah, I would debate Swag if he ever asked, of course. But, I wouldn't say he's a debater, per se. That's nothing bad. But he's very knowledgeable, though. He's very knowledgeable. But yeah, I do need to debate more. I do agree to show my. I do have debates up. They're on the channel. You just gotta go to playlists, click on debates. All my debates are there. Debating it really is sort of an art form. Your mind has to be able to quickly create new pathways to counter arguments. Adaptation is very important. That's what Seth is really good at, is adaptation. You know, against Kabuki and Afro, his adaptation was very good, right? I mean, their counters weren't very good, let's be honest, but his adaptation was very good. I've seen many debates of Seth. He has some of the best adaptation I've ever seen. I mean, you have to have the knowledge of the literature as well, but adaptation is very important. What if Beerus woke up in GT? Oh shit, that'd be crazy. Baramo Naruto and Rinnegan Sasuke versus Saiyan Saga Vegeta. I tend to believe Baramo Naruto is above large planet level. I think he's substantially larger. And Super Saiyan Vegeta, I'd have to assess the exact power level. I feel like Baramo Naruto would be slightly superior. It's hard to quantify where he's at, but I think he'd be slightly superior. I'd probably go with Baramo Naruto and Sasuke. I respect that, but you must agree that some rats need spanking. Yeah, I agree with that. There's just some people I'd never fuck with, you know, that I would never debate, whether they want to use that as a ego booster or not, because I just would never affiliate with them. You know, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, I would never debate those losers on there, because they're just fucked up people. The shit that they've done, that they're known for, they don't deserve a debate, you know. But yeah, a lot of rats do deserve it, for sure. Heavy Sasuke versus Kimimaro healthy. I know people use the Kimimaro, his War Arc feat, but I feel like that was more of a plot device, right? Because if he was that fucking strong, then he would have blitzed Gaara and Rock Lee like they were fodder, and that didn't happen. So I think Heavy Sasuke. If I'm being genuine, I would say Heavy Sasuke. Appreciate the dollars, Sean. Appreciate the donations. All donations go back to the channel, folks. Of course, just remember that they always go back to the channel. So any amount is greatly appreciated. So, and your questions take priorities, of course. And I do reaction requests as well for the right price. Ask me if you want me to react to something. Ask me first. So I'm not gonna react to stupid shit, but ask me first, and I'll give a price if you want to. You don't have to. It's just something I offer as well. Last week, someone paid for me to react to a video. I did it. You know. So something to think about if you want to. Deborah versus Cell. Deborah versus Cell. I don't really remember Deborah that much. It's been such a long time. I really need to like take the rust off my Dragon Ball knowledge, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I need to shake the rust off. It's been a while. Let me see his feats real quick. If I know what his feats are, I could give an answer. Let's see. Since quite some time. Large. They say on versus battles that he's large star level. If that's the case, then Cell wipes the floor with him because he's solar system level. He does have some hacks though. And versus wiki isn't perfect. I would probably say Cell. Kimimaro might have been nerfed because of sickness. True. That's a good point. I hadn't viewed ignoring their BS as a high road before, but you're right. Yeah. What if Raditz turned good? I know Seth and Clyde talked about this. If Raditz turned good, then transitively Nappa would, because he follows his lead. I feel like, you know, there were Chads. You know, there'd be Chads on Earth. They'd probably repopulate the Saiyan race, to be quite honest, especially Nappa. They would just be a couple more Saiyans on Earth. They'd probably train with Goku. Vegeta, let's assume that he ends up joining Goku anyways. They'd have 4 Saiyans, full-blooded. That would be amazing. They'd all progress all together. You know, who knows the levels that Raditz and Nappa could achieve, right? If they're with Goku, Vegeta, you know, in the hyperbolic time chamber, they go through all the events they did. Who knows? Maybe they'll be Super Saiyan gods. You'll never know. That would be amazing, though. You know, that'd be amazing. What if future Trunks went to Namek? Well, if he's at the level he was when he fucked up Frieza, then shit. That debacle would end quickly. If he's at the level when he sliced Frieza in pieces. Raditz in Super Saiyan 3 mode would be funny. Yeah, I wonder what the hell would happen to his hair. Like, you get longer? I don't understand it. Maybe it would just turn gold and not get longer. The writers would have to figure that out, or the artists. Piccolo versus Vegeta, equal stats and power level. Okay, so the equal stats and power level, then it depends on their battle strategy. And Saiyans are the best, arguably the best fighters in the universe, so probably Vegeta. Have you seen a new animation called Legend, the Dragon Ball Tale? Not really. I don't really fuck with Dragon Ball Legends, but I know there's a lot of crazy stuff that takes place. For sure. Let's see here. What questions you would ask or take note of when on date with the girl? First date. Let me think about this one. When it comes to dating, I like to vet my possible candidates. So I ask them simple things. What do you like to do in your free time? If they answer, oh, I go to the club, recreational use only, or I'm cutting them if they're mid. I like to see their demeanor, how they're like. Are they docile? Are they a little aggressive? I kind of vet them for what they could be, and then I determine what's going to happen. Am I going to cut them off? Are they main chick material? It really depends on their personality, their tendencies, etc. So Let's see. Piccolo does have regeneration though. That would be problematic, yeah, if they have equal stats. They'd be relative. But I'd still lean towards Vegeta. I think he's just better. A better fighter in general. So, any other questions here? But yeah, as far as debating, I do gotta debate more. You know, I gotta debate more for sure. But if you guys haven't seen, I do have debates up. You just gotta go to the channel page, click playlist, click debates. There are the debates if you haven't seen them. But I do gotta do more. I do enjoy it. I gotta find competent opponents. In fact, I have a funny story. I was on Instagram, and I was on the Naruto part of Instagram, and this guy was, what were we debating? It was on through text, but we were debating, what was it? Jiraiya being stronger than Itachi because Itachi said that him and Kisame would die. And the kid was adamant. I told him that doesn't imply that Jiraiya is stronger. Itachi's undercover. And Itachi folded Orochimaru at 13 years old, when not even touching him. And then the guy's like, well, he stated there's no way to prove that. I'm like, the fact that he's undercover proves that he doesn't want to fight Jiraiya because he doesn't want to hurt a fellow Leaf Jonin or a fellow Leaf Shinobi. And then he kept going. I'm like, let's do a voice chat. Let's do a voice chat in Discord. And he pussied out, so that didn't happen. So unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he knows I would have won that one. So I was actually gonna call it a random dude. I called out a random dude that day because I was bored, but didn't happen. Let's see here. What are some mistakes men make when dating girls? Loss of purpose, acting like you're your therapist. Vulnerability. Showing vulnerability is a huge mistake. Whether women want to admit it or not, they look at you differently. When they see any kind of weakness, that will affect the way they look at you. Their admiration and their respect will decrease. Sounds cruel, but that's reality. So try to avoid that. Don't let them control you. Don't let them lower your ambition or change your trajectory as far as your goals. You got to be the one leading. If you're not leading, it's not going to last. It's a story as old as time, you know. Men lead, women follow. It is what it is. Not a bad thing. Doesn't mean one's superior to the other. That's just the natural order of things. There's something women are better at, much better at, and there's something that men are better at. So it is what it is. Let's see. She's a 10, but your mom does not like her. If you're a grown man and she's really is a 10, then what your mom says, fuck it. It doesn't matter. I mean, if she really is that girl, she's attractive, submissive, supportive, loyal. What your mom thinks is irrelevant, to be honest. I've seen all your debates and you always kill it. Yeah, debating, I try to give a good performance. You know, it's kind of theatrical for me. If I'm debating and I'm recording it, I want to give a good performance, you know. Of course, I want to beat my opponent, but I also want to give a good performance for you guys, I mean. So, what if Hiruzen fought Tsunade instead in part 1? Oh, Tsunade would get folded. She has no hacks abilities. Her strength, that would be meaningless. Orochimaru has hacks. He has Edo Tensei. You know, he has his regenerative abilities. I know Tsunade has, you know, the 100 healings. If she turns that on, I still think Hiruzen is superior, and she's the weakest of the Sannin, so she would lose. She would lose. I'm highly, highly confident that she would. How should you go about chatting up with a woman? I know you can't I know you can't be like Terminator. Yeah, you gotta be smooth, of course. You can't be too brooding. You can't be like Batman, you know, because that turns them off. It's that to them it implies lack of care. You gotta show them that you care, but not be too soft to the point where it's weakness, right? Where you're spoiling her and shit. Be smooth, be cunning, be concise, but make it clear that you have an intention. You know, that you have an intention. That changes when you're high value, right? If you're Drake, that doesn't mean shit. Just show up and you're the prize. But for, you know, average dude, yeah, be cunning, be smooth, and make it clear what your intentions are, for sure. Who is a more transcendent athlete in your opinion? Steph Curry or Conor McGregor? That's a good question. So we can think of this in different ways. Now, who's had a worldwide impact? Right? Conor McGregor. Ireland, Europe, the UK, North America. Shit, probably Saudi Arabia at this point. Conor McGregor has changed mixed martial arts forever. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Conor McGregor personally, but he's damn near Muhammad Ali as far as impact, right? As far as impact, he's that transcendental to the sport of mixed martial arts. He puts up numbers that only superstars that are movie actors put up, or if you're Cristiano Ronaldo or LeBron James. NBA, right? Steph Curry has been a revolutionary figure with the 3-point shot. But I think if you're comparing who had more impact in their respective sport, Conor McGregor did. His trash talk revolutionized the game. His business motto revolutionized the game, mixed martial arts. He's still a unicorn, I'll admit that, right? As far as that aspect, people can copy Steph and shoot 3-pointers. However, you can't copy Conor as far as success unless you have a mouth. You have the shit-talking ability of Conor, which it's going to be a long time before we see someone that has that kind of impact ever again. A guy like that comes every 50 years, 100 years. Ali, Conor, Floyd Mayweather, arguably, right? But I would say Conor McGregor has more of an impact for sure. So, worldwide impact. He's a superstar. Steph Curry is a superstar too, don't get me wrong, but yeah. One Punch Man is getting higher scaling now. Oh, I've heard there's new things coming out with One Punch Man. I need to check that out myself. I see any other questions here. Feel free to keep asking questions, folks. Have you seen an anime called I Got Reincarnated as a Slime? No, I have not. There's a lot of anime I must watch in time. Bleach, I'm going to finish that. Maybe One Piece. Or maybe I'll save that for later because that one's very long. But Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen. I need to get familiar with Gojo. Gojo, I have a feeling is going to be one of my favorite characters. Gojo has some pretty sick abilities. Perception manipulation. That's fucking crazy. Do you believe Edo Tensei will be utilized in Boruto much? I doubt it. The only way I would see that would take place is, well, the question is, can you revive Otsutsuki? That's never been seen before. Possibly. Maybe they would revive Ishiki. It's the only thing I can think of. But I doubt they'll use Edo Tensei. Because if you're not reviving an Otsutsuki, it's meaningless to do so anyway. Otsutsuki are just beyond any shinobi that's ever lived, ever in the history of Naruto. Right? Hashirama would be fucking useless. Madara would be fucking useless. Itachi, Minato, useless fodder, to be quite honest. They'd be useless compared to any Otsutsuki. So, I doubt it. Not the zombie apocalypse again. Let's just say this. If someone got all those ninja out, Ishiki would body them by himself. In probably mere minutes. That's how easy it would be. He's that much stronger. She has an amazing body and great in bed, but does not cook and bad with money. She's recreational use only. Yeah. Amazing body and great in bed. If that's all that they strive in, that's recreational use only. See any other questions? Maybe what I'll do is I'll react to the Boruto manga I usually do it on Twitch, but maybe I'll do it on here next time. I know the next episode comes out next week, I believe. Or the next chapter. Excuse me. Let's see. Maybe Dragon Ball too. I need to catch up to Dragon Ball. My knowledge in the Dragon Ball literature is not where it should be. I know of Dragon Ball, but I need to clean up some ignorance of mine on my part, admittedly. Boruto Kakashi versus Gaara. Boruto Kakashi. So it's stated that he's significantly stronger than he was in the war arc in the novels. In his novel, it's stated. So Gaara was able to somewhat incapacitate Kinshiki, I believe, or was it Momoshiki? It didn't last long. It lasted like 2 seconds and he got out. Gaara got bodied by Urashiki, but then you gotta think Kakashi's feetless. There's just that one statement that says he's significantly stronger. I think due to lack of feats, I'd have to say Gaara probably, just because he just has a feat to show it. You know, Kakashi doesn't. It is contentious and quite impossible to answer 100%. The better debater would win. That's all I could say. It's definitely contentious. It's debatable. How long do you think Dragon Ball will last for? This rate, shit. They just keep reaching new limits. It could last a long, long time. Several years more, I'd say. How do you battle loneliness after you stack your money and go to the gym and live on your own? The best way to battle that is trying to meet people that are like you, people that uplift you, right? Removing negative reinforcers in your life and replacing that with positive reinforcers. People that you look up to, friends that are alike in your mindset and your ambition, the right woman, right? That's the best way. And also becoming more okay with being alone. That has to do with mental health and shit, all that sensitive shit. You gotta take care of your own mind first, and you'll be able to manage that more. Can't be alone too long. It's not healthy, but yeah, having the right circle. That's the best answer. Let's see. See if any questions that I had. Sai versus Zabuza. Sai, I feel like he's pretty featless, but Sai seemed to be implied to be stronger than early Naruto, early Shippuden Naruto. I mean, he was saying that he was weak and shit, implying he was stronger. And Naruto was still weaker than Kakashi. Sai versus Zabuza. That's a good one because it's hard to quantify where Sai is exactly. Sai was weaker than Sasuke, clearly, but stronger than Naruto and Sakura. I would lean towards Zabuza, I guess, because he was able to compete with Kakashi. I don't think Naruto reaches that level, not even part 1 Kakashi's level for a while. I don't think he reaches that until, like, possibly Rasen Shuriken Naruto. So I would say Zabuza, most likely. By the way, folks, make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. It gets us up in the algorithm. Makes our thing more well known. You know, when we get our names out there, our name out there. So hit the like button and hit the sub button if you haven't already. If Sage Naruto couldn't beat Pain, then who else could he beat in the Akatsuki? Could Sage Naruto beat Itachi? Yeah, he didn't beat Pain. If we're talking even close to Prime Itachi, no, he's not beating him. He's not beating him. So, he beats Hidan. He beats... Does he beat Kakuzu? Yeah, because he beat him with a Rasen Shuriken. I know people's bullshit's yelling like, he was caught off guard. No, he wasn't. He turned around and couldn't react. He wasn't able to react to it. So, he beats Kakuzu. He most likely beats Konan because he stated to be stronger than Jiraiya. And Jiraiya folded Konan when they fought each other one-on-one. That's without prep time. If Conan has prep time, maybe he kills him with the 600 billion paper bombs. If you want to assume that, sure, whatever. But if there's no prep time, he beats Conan. Who else is on there? Datara. Datara's tough. Because he almost killed Hebi Sasuke. I would say he could possibly beat Datara. Possibly. Sasori, the poison would be a problem. He'd have to be quick against Sasori. Once you get to Data and Sasori, it becomes contentious. But he beats Hidan, he beats Kakuzu, he beats Konan, no doubt. No doubt about that. One-on-one, he beats them. There's no doubt. And he beats Kakuzu. So, Hidan, Kakuzu. I think I said Kakuzu already, though. Hidan, Kakuzu, Konan, Zetsu. 5 Kage summit Sasuke versus the Boruto Kage. But how they were in the War Arc. And Tsunade. Still there in place of Naruto. Kakuzu has raw durability. Hey, I can't argue against that. It's irrefutable. Undeniable, like some rat we know says. It's irrefutable. Raw durability. But 5 Kage summon Sasuke versus the Boruto Kage and Tsunade instead of Naruto. Let's see. 5 Kage summon Sasuke. But against the Boruto Kage, but how they were in the war arc. So we got Gaara, right? We got Chonchuro. We got Darui. And then we have the Tsuchikage's, I believe, granddaughter, whatever the fuck her name was. And then we have Tsunade. Darui was able to compete with King and I forgot how to say their fucking names. But he competed with them. Gaara. I mean, if you want to be pedantic and use the speed of a sand, but I think that's kind of fallacious. You know, people say the speed of a sand is faster than the Red Kage, right? I just don't agree with that. I know he stopped the Red Kage from killing 5 Kage-sama Sasuke and killing himself. I understand that, but his sand wasn't fast enough to beat Deidara. I don't know. It's very contentious with Gaara. I would say Tsunade would be a problem for 5 Kage-sama Sasuke because of her durability. Even if he shoots her with arrows, she would survive. She might outlast him. Amaterasu, that might take her out though. That could take her out and burn her to death. I'll lean towards Sasuke, I think, because of the Amaterasu. He used Amaterasu flame control. So probably 5 Kage-sama Sasuke. Yeah, Kurochichi, that's her name. Do women say that self-care is everything? BS just to excuse their sexual acts after a relationship? Yeah, I mean, women are gonna come up with any excuse, and they usually get away with it. So that's the truth. Let's see here. Yeah, but I do think Sasuke would probably win, most likely. See here. Questions. But yeah, anime in general, you know, the more contentious debates, it really goes down to who's the better logical thinker. It really comes down to that, right? Someone like Seth, for example, he wins most of the time because he's just very, very good at logic and deduction. That's why he's so well known for his debate skills, even in contentious topics like Minato versus the Akatsuki, for example, which I just reacted to. There were counters against him. There were counters to be made, but they didn't make them, and he won the debate. Right? I've seen other debates that Seth has been in as well. He's just very good at logic and adaptation on the fly. Very good at it. So you gotta practice. It's a practice, you know. You gotta have the knowledge, and you gotta practice debating. You have to practice debating people and engaging in verbal sparring matches. You gotta get used to that. Because if you're not, you're gonna get folded by someone that's always practicing, that has the rhetoric for it. So it's an art form. It really is. It's like boxing or martial arts. You gotta be sharp. If you're not, you're gonna get folded. So it's too bad that Seth is retired. You know, a lot of guys said they retired. Six said he retired. Seth said he retired. Swag rarely debates. You know, it's unfortunate. The whole Discord community with the debates is pretty toxic. There's a lot of debaters that I know, but the community is just very toxic. I could say that my Discord is pretty mellow, which I'm proud of. You know, it's not a fucking toxic shithole like a lot of the debate servers. What if Cooler was in canon? If Cooler was in canon, maybe he'd be like a Frieza character. He'd evolve, keep evolving. I guess I wouldn't have much to say about that. I would need to learn more about him. Keep asking questions, folks. I'm still here for a while. I got you guys. Any anime questions? Any questions, really. Even controversial ones, fuck it. This podcast has been plenty controversial. for several episodes. In fact, I started this podcast a couple of years ago, and I wasn't even talking about anime yet. I wasn't involved yet. You know, I've talked about plenty of controversial shit, so fuck it. If you guys have anything, ask. You know, besides the obvious, like illegal shit and stuff, no. But controversy is welcomed. Let's see. Yeah, another thing I realized about power scaling, when people do like mathematical calculation, right? They use like pixelations and they use like panels or anime scenes to try and establish a calculation. That's arbitrary, right? Like what represents a unit of distance, right? What does a pixel represent? The writer didn't state what a pixel represents in terms of units of distance or speed or whatever the case may be. So if you're debating and people bring up calculation and it's not definitive, you could argue against the calculation and like put it into question, because people will use calculations as like, oh, I got you, you can't refute it, but in some cases it is refutable. It is. And then you got to ask yourself, do the way our world operates, does that automatically presuppose that any anime universe operates the same way? Not necessarily, right? You'd have to come into the debate presupposing that's the case. So that's something to think about as well. Piccolo, Buu Saga versus Trunks. Guard 2 Saiyan. Piccolo and the Buu Saga versus Trunks. I'm assuming. Let me see. Saiyan. I need to see a picture to refresh my memory. I'll come back to that one though. Base Minato versus the Ninetales. I mean, he was able to transport a Bijou bomb like it was nothing. I mean, he was able to transfer a 10-tail Bijou bomb away like it was nothing. Or teleport, I should say. Probably Minato. One-on-one with no other lives at risk. Yeah. Super Saiyan Grade 2 Saiyan versus the Piccolo Buu Saga. Oh, the one that fought Semi-Perfect Cell. He was pretty strong, but he's slow. You'd have to quantify Piccolo's speed in comparison to Super Perfect Cell by the time he's in the Buu Saga. I tend to believe he wasn't Semi-Perfect Cell level, even in the Buu Saga, so probably Grade 2 Saiyan Cell. Oh, excuse me, Trunks. Are you going to take calls? Yeah, I still got to keep planning on that, how exactly I'll go about that. So, see any other questions here? Keep asking questions, folks. I got y'all. Can you upload the Boruto manga? Nah, they'll copyright you faster than fucking hot pancakes for sure. You can react to it, you just can't show the panels, you know. But you know what, the devotion to anime, to comic books, what it shows me is that people are drawn to stories, right? We as humans are drawn to it. History is a story. Human history is a story. And I think stories have some sort of intrinsic, intangible value to humans, right? I mean, clearly, we look at human history and we try to not repeat the past. In anime, when we take these, a lot of it is inspiration. We take it as inspiration, the lessons that we learn, not just the aesthetic and power scaling, but the lessons thematically. Humans are drawn to stories, right? That's why anime will never go out of business. Movie business will never go out of business. The box office will always be booming because stories are intrinsically valuable to humans. That'll never die. You know, that's something that every human should try to learn of as much stories as they can. That's how they absorb information, and implicitly they're absorbing lessons through these stories told. That's why there's millions, tens of millions of anime fans because of that very reason. And I think that's a very interesting observation. You know, it's a very interesting thing with humans. Stories, you know, stories are valuable. They hold some sort of value. That's why people go to the theaters. That's why people buy manga. It's very interesting. Where do you want to be in 5 years? 5 years, I hope to be quite the name in this community. Maybe at the level of at least 6 by that point. Seth, hopefully, you know, be a name in the verse, in this this community. I call it the verse, but the metaverse or something, right? But yeah, I want to be known, right? Have a legacy at that point. Slowly building. By then, it should be substantial with time. Who's the best debater in your opinion? The best I've ever seen. If we're talking anime, just anime, pure anime, Seth is the best I've ever seen. But as far as the best debater, point blank period, probably Ben Shapiro. And that's besides the political viewpoint. I don't care about the ideology. Just pure debating, Ben Shapiro is the best I've ever seen. His adaptation, it's instant. As soon as you give him your premise and your counter argument, he's on your ass, no matter who you are. And I've seen him go against monsters like Sam Harris. I'm talking just intellectual phenoms, and he's able to compete and come up with these adaptations that are quite impressive at a rapid pace. His mind is damn near a computer, you know. So Seth is the best in this community. Ben is the best I've ever seen. Ben Shapiro. So, what are your views on Boruto Current? I think that they're heading in the right direction. It's a little slow paced. I get it. They want to build up the narrative, right? I understand that. Maybe they're trying to follow the Dragon Ball way, right? In DBZ when they had like 10 episodes of build up, but they're heading in the right direction. As much as people hate it, I think the passing of the torch is the right thing to do, because if you want to make Boruto popular, you have to toss aside the ways of the old, and that means tossing aside old characters like Naruto, like Sasuke. They have to be tossed to the side, because you will never have people appeal and admire new generation if the old generation is still leading the way. So they are headed in the right direction. The cyborgs are cool. Ishiki, I believe, was more polarizing. Code is not that polarizing to me. Damien is hard to take serious. Maybe ironically that's the point. Maybe they want us to look at him that way. He's going to surprise us. I mean, he's already arguably stronger than Jigen. I mean, it's stated he is, but as far as character-wise, they don't really impress me. But they're headed in the right direction. I'll say that. Have you seen Scum's Wish, Clan Ad, Say I Love You, Summer Ghost, Your Name? No, I don't think I'm familiar with any of that. Did social media dating apps kill modern dating? Yes, it did. There's thoughts and there's hoes all over because of social media, because they can get away with it. Because social media gives females an advantage. They can display their beauty. That's their primary commodity in the dating market, is beauty. As shallow as that sounds, that's their primary commodity. To get their foot in the door is the beauty. Men, that's not their primary commodity. Their primary commodity is success, money, status, clout. Shit you have to earn through years of hard work, unless you're lucky, you know. So yes, it has greatly killed dating. Can you shout me out? What's going on, Orihime? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Thanks for coming in. We're just talking anime, talking anything, from anime to whatever. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, for sure. And donations are, again, as you could read here, they're prioritized as far as questions, so any donations appreciated. But yeah, back to the call thing. I'll do call-ins soon. I just got to figure out a way to have an efficient system for that. So Any other questions here? For you guys that came in, ask any questions you desire. That's why I'm here. Have you watched Code Geass? I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet, though. It's on my bucket list, though. There's several animes on my bucket. One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, because of Gojo, Demon Slayer, Code Geass, Black Clover. There's a few others as well, but those are like the main ones right now. So. See if there's any other questions that I have pre-saved. Give me a second, folks. Alright, sorry, I was just looking at if there's other questions someone's asked in the Discord. What do you think about epistemic humility? Well, if I'm not mistaken, that basically means us coming to a realization that our knowledge is imperfect, right? That we have the humility to admit that. If I'm not mistaken on the term. I've heard of the term before. And I think every individual should have epistemic humility because there is no perfect mind. Not even Elon Musk has a perfect mind. I think he realizes that, right? Which is why he's always transcending his own intellect as he goes on, right? Science, isn't it? The term evolving science is because of epistemic humility, right? People know that our minds are flawed. That's why we let AI do things that we can never achieve. We realize our own imperfection. And that in turn creates not perfection, but excellence. So humility is always needed, no matter how gifted you are, because there's always a next level, right? There's always another level to the game. So, favorite genre in anime. Favorite genre? Well, I guess technically battle or fighting-based anime is a genre, right? If I'm not mistaken. Isai versus Natsu. I don't think I'm familiar with those people. What festivals have you been to? Festivals. I don't think I've ever been to one, actually. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a homebody because of the, I'm focused on the journey. All I do is gym, work, YouTube, school, repeat. At this point, I really haven't been to any. Like a concert, festival, I don't believe so. I would like to go to a Drake concert someday. Drake is the GOAT, sorry. You're such a GOAT, bro. You deserve 1 mil. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully one day, one day we can get there with time. That was a good question, though. That's the first, philosophical, deep philosophical question I've had in a while. I enjoy philosophy. Philosophical debates are some of the most interesting because philosophy is malleable. Philosophy is extremely debatable, especially when you're in relatively moral ground, right? There is the baseline for morality, which is don't kill, don't steal, don't cheat, etc. And then there's this gray area where people argue what's the best spot to be in, right? And it's back to epistemic humility. Do you think you know it all? Do you think your ideology is the end all be all? Do you lack humility, or do you have it? And are you willing to be open-minded to new ways of knowledge, new ways of viewing the world? So it's very, very interesting. It will always be an evolving science. I think philosophy, morality, is not something that we'll ever get the perfect answer for. That's why governments in human history all have different ideologies and different ways of governing. We see some governments have more success. The U.S., for example, even that's debatable. But we see great nations fall. Rome, right? Rome fell, and it was perceivably a fucking paradise. It fell. So there's always a better way. So, how old are you and what ethnicity are you in? I'm half Native American, half Mexican, and I just turned. Should I be like Seth and not tell my age? What do you guys think? Should I tell my age or be like Seth and say that I'm 14 for the next 10 years? Let me know. J. Cole and Drake are the best. Yes, that's facts. Love your dedication. Would love to see you collaborate debate with Seth or Swag. I would love to debate them, honestly. I know Seth retired. I think they know of me. I don't know them personally, but they know of me, I believe. Both of them. I wonder if they've seen my videos. I hope so. I'm sure. I've reacted to a lot of their content. So, what philosophical themes can be found in Naruto? There's plenty. You got to look at the most complex of characters. For example, Madara Uchiha. His whole philosophy and ideology was perfect peace through the means of extinguishing free will. So back to epistemic humility, he didn't have it. He didn't have humility. He thought his way was the end all be all, right? He thought through the removal of free will, there will be perfect peace. That's what his philosophy was, his ideology. Naruto is, the whole plot is it's a clash of ideology, right? That's the whole premise behind Naruto. Naruto's premise was achieving not perfect peace, but optimal peace, right? He was more open-minded to that. And the best way to do that was to become, you can argue, even he had a power complex. He wanted power, but for a good reason. Compare that to Sasuke, his ideology. He wanted to be perfect to defeat his brother, and then his ideology would contort after he learned of his brother's true motives. He wanted to become powerful, to become tyrannical, to become a tyrant. So at the end of Naruto, their fight, right, Naruto and Sasuke's fight was more than just physical. That was a clash of ideology. That was a clash of superpowers going at it, right? So it's one of the oldest stories in the book. You have the two strongest individuals with the strongest ideology, and ironically, the strongest powers in the verse, right, at that point in time, power scaling wise. They clash. Naruto comes out on top. The good guy wins. In Boruto, it's a little different. But there is a class of ideology in Boruto. It's Kawaki's way, which I predict it's going to be killing the old ways of the shinobi. That's his ideology. He thinks that the old way of the shinobi shit doesn't work anymore. I mean, he kind of has a point. Otsutsuki folding everyone, Naruto and Sasuke being fodder to Ishiki until Kurama until he sacrifices himself. Kawaki might have a point. Boruto's ideology is keeping the way of the shinobi, protecting his dad's legacy. So there's always a clash of ideology. That'll never end. So Naruto is very, I think the writers are prolific in that sense, always having that thematic aspect ingrained, so definitely. Let's see. What is Kendrick's legacy? Kendrick's legacy, he's one of the best lyrical geniuses of our era, maybe of all time. I think his rhyme schemes, his ability to create these verses, they're very well done. Some of the best work I've seen. Very poetic. J. Cole's up there as well, and Drake. I know people shit on Drake for whatever reason, maybe because he's just so great. But honestly, his verses are very prolific as well. There's a reason why he's a top dog and artist of the decade. Those three are like the leaders of the generation. So, would you rather have super strength or speed? Maybe speed, because I can get away with things. Why need strength when you have finesse, right? I have super strength, won't mean shit if I get shot. So, yeah, super speed. Assuming I don't have durability with this strength. Is Kisame with light speed? I'm assuming you're coming from my debate reaction to Seth and Kabuki and Afro. I was being devil's advocate, right? Because Seth's argument, for you guys that didn't see the reaction or that debate, he was being hyper literal in the scene that took place when the Raikage speed blitzed Minato, right? Minato's flip, when he flipped the kunai was going faster than the Raikage, and that's according to the data book, light speed. So he was saying him flicking the kunai is going faster than the Raikage, so it's faster than light. And then when he tries to kill the Raikage, the Killer Bee intercepts it with his tentacle. And then I argued, well, that action took more effort than flipping the kunai casually. So I argued, Killer Bee is above light speed. Kisame beat Killer Bee, hence Kisame's light speed. Do I actually agree with that? No, I don't. I don't think Killer Bee is light speed either. He's slower than his fucking brother is. So there's that. So there's sometimes in anime you can't take it hyper literally, because if you take it hyper literally, then Killer Bee's faster than Minato. He's not. Clearly, he's not fucking faster. It's not the case. So, an appeal to reality, right? It's fallacious logic in anime, where things are not perfect. The laws of physics don't always conform because the writers want to make it entertaining. So, it is what it is. Like, think about it this way. If the writers were to be hyper literal, Minato would slaughter everyone. He would slaughter Killer Bee, slaughter the Raikage, slaughter Obito. If he was so much faster, if he was hyper literal with his statements. You can't be, because there would be no entertainment. Batman versus Superman. If Superman had the abilities that he has in the comics, there would be no Batman versus Superman, because he would fucking speed blitz Batman and rip his throat out before he can even blink, before his synapse can fire. He'd be fucking dead. Simple as that. So you can't be hyper literal. It is what it is. Would you rather want a Drake Kendrick song or Kanye Cole? Drake Kendrick for sure. I like Kanye. I like Drake more though. Dude, I wish you and Six would collab. By the way, I think you're better Six than debating. Six is all right. I would love to debate Six one day. You know, I've talked to him a couple times. He's a really cool dude. I respect him. I respect his knowledge and his rhetoric. Do I think I could compete? Yes, I do. I do think I can compete with him. Do I think I can beat him? Probably. No shade. Six is a tough opponent. I think I'd struggle. I would have to try against Seth. Six. I know there's a few guys in the Discord community. There's some good guys out there. You know, so I'm not, perfect. I would definitely have my hands full. Yeah. Love debating on me. Oh, appreciate the $5, Luis. Appreciate it. I'll read that first. Appreciate the $5, brother. Appreciate everything you do, bro, from answering my questions to everything else. I appreciate the hard work and content from you. Hey, appreciate it, man. You guys keep it rolling. You guys keep the train rolling, because YouTube, it's about consistency. I'm not gonna lie, I used to stream to 0 people. Dead ass. 0. Right? And I don't have thousands of people watching, but I used to stream to nobody, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. Just consistency is key. And I had to keep developing my mind, my anime knowledge, my rhetoric, everything. So I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. Love debating people on Minato because he's the most contentious character. Yeah, he is. Definitely is. Travis XO, appreciate it, whatever that means. How do you think the new season of Dragon Ball Super is going to be? I'm predicting that Broly will be in it, because it seems to be implied he will be part of the narrative. We're going to see some amazing battles. I pray to God we see Mastered UI versus Ultra Ego. I'm praying to God that we see that animated. Gaz, I want to see him animated, how that's going to go against Goku and Vegeta. There's a lot of things I want to see animated, right, and that we've seen in the manga. So it seems very promising. Very promising. Granola as well. So definitely excited for it. Do you think Final Gohan will be in the show? If the one from the movie, I'm assuming you mean. I hope so. It's crazy that Toriyama stated that Cell Max would be theoretically stronger than Broly, and Gohan beat him. Well, I think he wasn't Cell Max technically in the movie, but that's insane. That's an insane level of power. Six said he'll debate you right now. Six? I doubt he's worried about me right now. Yeah, I highly doubt that. But I really respect Six though. I like Six. Six is string right now. If you're down, he's willing to debate right now. Really? Appreciate $10, Luis. I appreciate it, brother. I'm serious. You're the best, bro. Help me with my problems, and every podcast is worth re-listening and attending live. We have to talk one of the streams and kick it. Yeah, I try to interact with the subscribers, but I can show you his messages. He's in a private server with us. Oh wow, that's interesting. What does he want to debate? Which model of teleportation would you rather have, Kamui or Flying Rising? Flying Rising. It seems cooler. I know Kamui's pretty impressive as well. Appreciate the $10 though, Luis. Once again, appreciate the donations, brother. It means a lot. So 6 lecture videos. Hop on the stream. Hop on a stream. Give me a second, folks. Damn. Alright, where was I? Loaded C6 versus J. That's unexpected. Best rap album of 2022 so far. Best rap album? I really haven't heard any this year. By the way, guys, if you're serious, ask Six what he'd want to debate. Ask him that. I'm trying to see how I would see his stream. Because he didn't post it anywhere, so I'm trying to see myself. You guys can let me know. Sure. What's the debate topic going to be? Thoughts on Gunna Young Thug issue. I'm kind of familiar with it, right? They got indicted for some bullshit. I need to see the exact charges and the whole thing. He's not streaming, my bad. Keep asking questions, folks, if you have any. Appreciate all the donations, by the way. It's highly appreciated. I sent you the server invite on Discord. What if real life were more like the movies? That's a tough question because it depends on the parameters of the movie. Appreciate the $5 anime villain. You said that you sent me the link. Okay. If you guys don't mind, I could join after. You're the goat. I appreciate that, brother. I will join. I will join. Give me a second, or more than a second, because I'm streaming right now. But he's not streaming. He said he'll debate you on your stream. On my stream? Oh shit. How would I? What if you could do one thing with 0% chance of failure? Probably achieve the perfect level of income for everyone's merit. How about that? That's what I would do. Jay the Great nervous. Let me see, how do I if you could find out the truth of any unsolved crime, what would it be and why? What would it be and why? Maybe any crime. Maybe the Zodiac Killer. I know they never caught him. All right. just need to figure out how I would do the whole screen thing for the Discord. It gets to like join and not end the stream. Admittedly, I'm a little ignorant towards it. Let me see. Let's send you an invite to the server. You guys have any questions, folks? Feel free to keep asking. I'm trying to figure out how I would, you guys should debate a neutral topic. Yeah, ask Six what he'd want to debate. If he wants to debate something. So I think neutral would be fair. I agree. What if you could talk to animals? That would be pretty great. Like your pets and stuff. Talk to wild animals to the way they wouldn't be aggressive because they can comprehend your tongue, your language. Yeah, ask guys that are talking to Six. Ask what he'd want to debate. Was Six watching the stream or something? I guess Six. Hey, shout out if you're watching Six, shout out to you, brother. I appreciate that, man. It's an honor, truly. Jeff, 3 a.m. questions. Hey, man, we're all curious beings, right? For sure. What if? Appreciate the $20. You know who you are, and I know who you are. Alexa. Okay. What if you were given 3 wishes? What would you wish for? Perfect equality. Not equality. Perfect outcome based on merit and effort for everyone. Perfect peace. And endless supply of energy. How about that? What topics do you like to debate? 6 down to debate Minato. Fuck that. Minato's so weird, man. Minato's such a weird dude. Because there's like 2 sides of the coin with this kid, with Minato, you know? Topics, I'll debate Naruto. I don't want to say Dragon Ball. I'm sure Six probably knows more about the Dragon Ball literature than I do. Probably just Naruto for now. Or IRL. IRL topic would be cool too. Would you repair any old relationships? Hell no. Definitely not. Minato versus adult Obito. Adult Obito depends on which version. Jubito smacks his ass. White Mask or Renegon Obito smacks him. Orange Mask Obito is contentious because people they look at it differently. They say that Teen Obito was amped by Zetsu, hence he was faster, and some argue he's older, wiser, stronger, so he would beat Minato. It depends on how you interpret it. What Naruto topics? Let's see. I guess relatively debatable topics like I don't know if I want to say Itachi versus Pain because that's a weird one. Itachi versus Pain. What else is hot these days? trying to think of some other topics. Just a relatively like normal, debatable topics, I guess you could say. If you woke up tomorrow and you were an infant and were given a chance to restart, what would you change? What would I change? It's a hard question because I would argue no matter what I do, there'd always be mistakes. I don't think I would change anything because there is always going to be flaws at the end of the day. So what's the point, you know? By the way, thanks once again, folks, for all the donations. That's a big reason why I haven't left to debate 6, because of the donations. How would you handle what if thought scenarios when it comes to relationships and life in general? Would you wash your face, hit the gym? I hit the gym, man, when I'm having flashbacks all the time. All the time. You fine with telling him Itachi versus Pain? Sure, yeah, why not? Have a nice little debate, I suppose. Conan versus Zetsu. Conan versus Zetsu? Depends on how you perceive Zetsu. If you think he really one-shots Jubidara, then Zetsu, obviously. But if you think he's fodder, like most people do, then Conan. Do you cook or eat out? Most of the time I cook, because eating out's expensive, and there's not a lot of healthy alternatives out there. Any other questions out here? By the way, donations take priority, by the way, so again, all donations are appreciated. Appreciate it. All the people who have donated, appreciate you. Any other questions here? Let's see here. What if you had to choose between a wonderful romantic relationship that would end after only a year, or a so-so that would last your entire life? Wonderful one. The so-so is bland and dull and miserable. So I'd rather it short and sweet than long and dull, you know, for sure. By the way, the guys that are with 6, I'm using like software that I don't know how to like switch to Discord and stuff, but in the future, I mean, I'm still gonna join after this, but if you want, if he's like adamant about doing it on stream on my thingy, I could figure it out too. I'm still gonna join after, but I'm just saying, I need to figure out how to do like the window capture and stuff on here. I mean, I'm still joining after, but I'm just saying, it's up to him. What's your opinion on Hashirama versus KCM Minato? Oh, fuck, man. Those kind of debates are insane. Let me think about that one. Hashirama versus KCM Minato. There's always that one fucking feat when he intercepted Jubidara's truth-seeking orb. But, like, I feel like that's a plot device, because then we'd have to scale Rock Lee to that, too. Probably Hashirama. Probably Hashirama. So, I would say that. KCM2 Minato versus Pain. Minato slaps him in any version. Any Edo, base, KCM. Pain gets slapped. Where could you, where if you could move anywhere, would you want to live? I feel like I'd want to live in a decent sized city, not too big, not too small. Not like New York, but not like Alabama rural area either. Like somewhere in the middle. It's a nice little suburb, calm, low crime rate. Yeah, something like that. Go Hashirama W. Yeah, I agree. It's just the thing with Minato, right? And I'm sure Six have seen this before. It's the whole feat with Jubidara. Like he was able to intercept his true seeking orb in an instant, and it didn't touch his cloak. But I'm like, Rock Lee threw a kunai faster than Night Guy was going. Like, are we gonna scale Rock Lee over Night Guy? Like, it's like taking a feat hyper literally and revering a certain feat that doesn't seem to represent the majority of the narrative told, right? That's the way I look at those kind of feats. Like, Minato, is he really faster than Jubidara and Night Guy? Does that seem to narratively hold with the rest of the plot? You know, that's the way. It's the best way you can attack it. That kind of argument, right? In my opinion, it's just weird, you know. And some people that really revere the feat, and it happens in front of your eye. So that's the tough part. It happens in, you know, the naked eye sees that, and I mean, they're gonna come to the conclusion that Minato's faster. But to me, it's like a plot device. It's like a Deus Ex Machina. It's not something that would happen on a bounce of probabilities. It's really weird, you know. It really is. Casey and Minato versus Momoshiki. Oh yeah, Momoshiki slaps for sure. I'm sure Six agrees with that, by the way. Like, there's some of this weird feats that they happen, but it's like a Deus Ex Machina, right? And then you got to prove it's a Deus Ex Machina. That's the way I look at it. Any upcoming vid updates from you? I have Why Everyone Hates Sakura coming up. I want to get someone else that knows a lot about Naruto to talk to me about it. I kind of don't want to just be me. I know Six and Swag and all of them do like collabs. I like that kind of video format because it's like a conversation. So I need to get someone that's like very competent and knowledgeable. I have some friends to do that video with. I need to find a friend or two. So Why Everyone Hates Sakura is the next. Six is willing to take Casey and Minato. Oh man, damn. I can kind of assume where he would go with that. I can kind of assume since he would be willing to pick Casey and Minato. He's gonna revere that feat, I'm supposing. Speed, right? What if Hashirama had Renegon? Theoretically, couldn't he implant Madara's cells into himself and get the Renegon like Madara did for himself with Hashirama cells? I feel like theoretically that'd be possible. He would be unstoppable. I would assume so. He would be unstoppable. So, Jubidara was going easy. So that's the argument. Don't give me Six's arguments. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if this is Six's arguments or not. Limbo clone would have killed Guy. Hey, I'll give you that. You could argue Jubidara was taking it easy, right? You could argue that. See, folks, any other questions here? I appreciate all the donations. I owe you guys a stream for that. You know, appreciate that. See, any other questions here? Oh, I read that one already. Shit. What if tomorrow I woke up without your eyesight? That'd be awful. Life would be terrible. You know, after you get hopefully get enhanced hearing from it. You're right. He wouldn't even see it or sense it. With the Limbo clone? Yeah, that's correct. Yep. Hashirama would need the Sharingan to awaken the Renegon, so wouldn't taking Madara's cell not work without him? That's a good point. That is a good point. But I would just say the whole Ashra Indra thing, maybe that would suffice. I don't know. Or maybe he'd get another kind of amplification. There's no way to tell. But that is a good point. Like having the Sharingan, which is the inferior dojutsu, right? And the Renegon's like the next stage of evolution. That's a good point. We've never seen it, huh? Unfortunately, we never got to see what would happen. Maybe in Boruto we'll see Naruto take Sasuke's cells. I don't know, or his eye if he dies or something. If you could change one thing in Naruto or Boruto, what would it be? Kaguya being the last villain in Naruto. I'd rather see her in Boruto, to be honest. I think it was a shitty ending. Or if not that, because I know some people are okay with it somehow. I just think narratively it wasn't very appealing. Just the way it forcefully was brought upon us. I would say maybe what else was unneeded? It's hard to think. Maybe Jiraiya's death? I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. What if you could have a party and invite anyone, dead or alive? Which people would you invite? Invite anyone? Abraham Lincoln, Roosevelt. Just very heroic figures in human history. Who else is Michael Jackson? Nah, I don't know about Michael Jackson. Kobe Bryant, Tupac, Biggie, a lot of cool people. What's up with the hype of Boro release? I think that comes from just the name itself and the fact that when Naruto used it, he like sliced Madara, Jubidara in like half or something. Boro release just seems to have this sort of appeal to it, you know. And like the whole like source of it, it seems ambiguous though. What if you had one dinner with Drake? Would you ask him anything? What would you ask? Do you use OBS or Streamlabs? I actually use the actual YouTube, you know, like the actual YouTube streaming. You just use your webcam. That's the tough part. So I'd have to like close this shit to do it. But you're right. I should get familiar with OBS because it's like more. You can do more stuff with it. So, celeb you would smash. Good question. Good question. There's a lot of dime pieces. Smash. Currently, the one that catches my eye the most. Celeb. So I'm removing Instagram thoughts. Those are not celebrities. They have no merit. Sorry. So Instagram models out the window. You have to have like actual merit from movies, songs, being a musician. Instagram thoughts have no merit. They're just thoughts. So I would choose. Who's at the top of my head? That's a good question. Maybe Megan Fox in her prime. Megan Fox in her prime. Or Rihanna. This is a random pick, but Rihanna's pretty fine. One of those. Scarlett Johansson. That's a good one too. Baddie. Oh, I think I got the answer. Just came to me. Probably Margaret Robbie. I think that's her name, right? Margaret Robbie. The one that played Harley Quinn. Bad. Really bad. He overpowered Kaguya for a split second too. You mean Jubidara? With Boro release. Oh, you mean Naruto. Yeah. With Boro release. Right. Have you tried getting a call with someone on Discord to see if the stream would hear them? I haven't tried that, actually. I need to do that. Make it more interactive, you know? I should do that. Let's see. Yeah, Boro release is really hyped. Now I think about it. Everyone talks about Boro release. It just has the most showings, I'd say. You know, so it's the most like fresh to the mind, to the most viewers, to most of the fandom, I would say. If you had 1 hour dinner with Drake, what would you ask him? Drake. I would ask him, how does he like close out all the noise? Because think about how big he is. Imagine the amount of haters that he has. It must be substantial, you know. the best way, if you're that massive of a star, is to not have a phone or to have like a manager handle your phone, because any human that sees that amount of hate, and I would argue he has more support than hate, but the vast amount of people talking shit, that's overwhelming. I would ask him, how do you do it? How do you stay on course with all the amount of pressure on you? How did you do it? You know, that's what I would ask him. Drake's a unicorn, honestly, in the business. One of the best. Let's see. Make sure to hit the like button, by the way, folks. It gets us up in the algorithm. Gets us up there. People get to see our name out there. Keeps us growing. Hit the sub button if you haven't already. I appreciate it. What's going on, Cody? Thanks for coming in, brother. You want to see if you can join a call with 6 if his audio pops up, so you can try debating now. I don't know if they would hear him though, because it only has my mic thingy, like my mic audio. It would be like me talking to no one. I could join after though, after the stream. Or if he wants to wait till I stream again, we could do that. I have to figure out OBS. I'm going to download OBS like right after. So I'll have OBS soon to become familiar with the interface. Favorite genre of video games? Favorite genre of video games? Probably shooters. I mean, Call of Duty, you know, Halo. Well, I'm not really an Xbox guy, but I played Halo a few times. Call of Duty. A lot of great games. I guess GTA technically is a shooter, right, as well. It's not like primarily a shooter, but if you can't hear him, you can postpone it then, but it's up to you if it's your stream. Yeah, I'll join after. I mean, if he doesn't want to wait, I respect that. I'm not gonna be here much longer, so it's up to him. I'll join after. So either way, you're gonna wait for GTA 6, man. We've been waiting for GTA 6. How long have we been waiting for GTA 6? It's been quite some time. Quite some time. From what I hear, 2024. That's what, 11 years since GTA 5? That is substantial. That is a substantial wait time. It better be massive, I swear to God. It better be 200 gigabyte game, several cities large. I swear to God, it better be worth it. I almost forgot to ask your opinion on the Jake versus Hasim fight. I'm glad someone asked me that, because I do have thoughts on that. So this is the reality. It is a spectacle, and here's why. Hasim is the toughest opponent Jake's ever faced. Yes, he has the least amount of clout, arguably the least amount of clout, but that's irrelevant to the fight game. He's 12-1, and he had over 100 amateur fights in the game of boxing. I don't think people that are casuals understand the vast amount of boxing that is. Yes, it's 3-minute rounds, right? Amateurs are 3-minute rounds. That's over 200 rounds of boxing, and amateurs are more technical, right? It's less about power, it's more about technique. Right, it's more about technique. There's more inside boxing. There's more countering. There's more technique. So Hasim, it's safe to say, has extreme amount of technique. He grew up around his father, who beat Lennox Lewis, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Hasim Sr. beat Lennox Lewis, arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time. He grew up boxing. Since he was a baby, he's been boxing. Jake is going to face the toughest opposition he's ever faced. Now, is Hasim his father? No, he's not his father. But he's extremely formidable. And apparently the rumor is he boxed Jake with one hand 3 years ago when they were sparring. That's how superior he was to him in boxing. That was the gap in skill. He boxed him with one hand. He couldn't switch to southpaw. He had to fight orthodox. Right? He was that vastly superior to fucking Jake. So it was basically fucking Beerus versus Goku. That's what it was. It was fucking Beerus versus Goku that day. Now, people are going to argue it's been 3 years. Jake's gotten better and better and better. Okay. He struggled outboxing Tyron Woodley the second time. Tyron Woodley is no connoisseur to boxing. I think Jake's going to lose. Honestly, I lean towards he's going to lose. But Jake surprises us all the time. He can crack. The kid can crack. You see his sparring. You see his technique, his power. The kid can crack. So I would predict that Hasim probably finishes him, or outboxes him. I think he can beat him either way. I'd be very surprised if Hasim loses. And if Jake wins, the motherfucker is a prodigy at boxing. That's all I have to say. So, for real. Do you watch Bleach? I just started watching and I'm enjoying it. I'm 80 episodes into Bleach. I'm heavily enjoying it. I like the captains. I fuck with Aizen. Aizen's probably my favorite character, and I've only seen like 2 seconds of him because he escaped the Soul Society. So I really fuck with Aizen. Ichigo is really cool. Ichigo's power scaling progression is very vast because he beat Kenpachi, like 60 episodes in? Well, some people are going to say he stalemated Kenpachi. And Kenpachi joined the captain squad because of his pure strength. He doesn't even have a Bankai. The guy is that fucking strong, and he stalemated that guy. After 10 days of training with the old Squad 12 captain, whatever his name is. There's a lot of names. That guy. And he already stalemated Kenpachi. And then when he gets a Bankai, he arguably beats Byakuya. Like, dude, this guy's a fucking monster. So, Jake finally going to lose? I predict he is. But I predicted he was going to lose to Ben Askren. And then I predicted he was going to lose to Tyron. I was wrong. I'm not a perfect predictor, clearly. We'll see. But I do think he loses. Alright, I'll let him know you'll join after the stream. Yeah, for sure. And tell him again, thanks. It's an honor. Alright, folks. I'll stay for a while longer unless donations come in. I think I'm lagging a little bit. I apologize for the lag. Internet's slow. Okay. Let's see here. By the way, join the Discord if you haven't already. I have my own, if you guys didn't know. It's very mellow, so if you want like a mellow, chill debate server, go ahead and join. Sometimes I do watch parties. I'm planning on doing to the new Dragon Ball movie soon. So if you're interested, hit the link in the description, and join the Discord. Let's see. Any other questions, folks? Let's see here. But yeah, Jake has his toughest test. His toughest test. What if Rock Lee beat Gaara in the Chunin exams? If Rock Lee beat Gaara, he would be a fucking superstar. He would be the man, you know, and he'd probably keep progressing. I would assume the writers would keep progressing with him at the rate that they were as far as his progress. You know, it kind of went stagnant and it got tossed to the wayside after Gaara defeated him. You know? His hype went away, his lore went away. It was never the same. If he would have beat Gaara, he probably would have been a prodigy and a fucking monster and would have been something else. But we can only speculate, right? So, you think Sasuke would have lost the fight with Deidara if there were any other, if he were any other element nature? That's a high likelihood. If he wasn't lightning based, right, he wouldn't be able to defuse the bombs underground. There's a bunch of shit he couldn't have done. I think he probably would have lost. He was on the brink of death with lightning nature, you know, with lightning based chakra nature. So probably would have. I think Deidara probably would have got him. Yeah, it was very closely contested, and that was with the perfect deterrent to Deidara's chakra. I mean, to his clay bombs, right? So, what if Gaara did not mess up Lee's legs? It's tough to speculate, but that would imply the writer still wants to keep the lore, maybe. Like they would say, yeah, Rock Lee is close to Gaara, not quite. He almost beat him, but but he didn't get destroyed. Um, it would imply that they would still want to do stuff with Lee. That's what I would assume. Sasuke and Data fight was incredible. Yes, it was. Definitely. It was incredible. One of the best of all time. No doubt about it. All right. Sub or dub? I really can't fuck with sub. I know some people like it more, but I'm a dub person. For sure. Definitely dub. By the way, guys, if I debate 6, I'll ask him if he's okay with me recording it so I could show you. I know I couldn't show you here, but I'll try to record that and see if he's okay with it. So, I thought he'd retired from debating, but it's an honor. So, he is a formidable opponent. That will be a piece of film to behold, hopefully. Let's see here. Feel free to ask any other questions, folks. I'll probably stick around until 11. Over here it's 10:51, so 9 more minutes. Unless someone sways me. Otherwise, you know, with a donation or something, then I'll stay a little longer. But I owe you guys something for the donations. Appreciate it. But going back to Jake, yeah, that's going to be a spectacle. I definitely want to see that one. That's really going to test Jake's ability. So, I'm out, man. Take care. All right, take care, Luis. Appreciate all the donations. It's heavily appreciated. All right, folks, if you guys have any further questions, go ahead and ask, and I shall answer. Anything at all. Controversy filled, whatever filled, go ahead. Yo, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's all good, Sean. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I'm lagging, I apologize, folks. It says my connection's slow. It's very unfortunate. Let's see, one last question for you. Do you think Orochimaru's a data? Orochimaru was still superior to Sasuke for a while. So Orochimaru probably takes it. Too many hacks abilities. I've been playing through Final Fantasy VII original anime. I gotta say it's good, but it doesn't age as well as everyone makes it out. I've heard of Final Fantasy. I know it's pretty iconic, but I've never played. I think I've only played a little bit of it. I don't remember. I was pretty young when I had played a Final Fantasy game, but I know it's a pretty iconic game. I need to play Elden Ring, man. It's like the shit. I think it died down a little, the hype, but it's like the shit. I know that. So. Alright, folks, 2 more questions, and I shall depart. Hopefully, if 6 wants, I can record it. If we debate, I'll record it. Hey, win or lose, I'll still post it. Fuck it. I'll still post it. It is what it is. Any final questions? Go ahead, folks. Answer a couple more. Great, man. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. All right, folks. I think that is... All right, there's one more question. Pain Arc Kakashi versus Base Sonic individually. That's a good question. Pain Arc Kakashi. All right. So Pain Arc Kakashi was moving relative to, I believe it was 7 Gates Guy when they were facing the Jubi that were controlled from, what's his name? Obito. I don't know why I forgot his name, but they were moving like relative in speed. They were having relative success levels against Obito with the white mask. The only reason Kakashi had more is because he had the other Sharingan. So you could argue, I know it's contentious, that he's relative in speed to 7 Gates Guy. 7 Gates Guy beat down Kisame. You could argue Kisame was weaker because he didn't have Samehada and he was already fatigued. That's fair. But I would argue he's probably superior to Kisame, I would say. It's arguable, though. It's very contentious. Kisame is probably above a base Sani. It's very contentious. But I think Pain Arc Kakashi probably beats Tsunade, most likely because of Kamui. I would argue he has superior speed. Jiraiya and Orochimaru is a little tougher to assess. It's speed that it comes down to. How relative in speed are they, if at all? If he's faster, then he wins because of Kamui. If he's too slow, he probably gets beaten. I don't think he has superior AP to any of them, any 3. Like all 3 have superior AP, I'd argue. So it would come down to the speed factor. So you went in on him for no reason. Pain Arc got slapped by Tendo. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of War Arc. Pain Arc Kakashi. I think he would lose for sure. I mean, he can barely handle Tendo. I don't know, for some reason I thought War Arc, my bad. But yeah, he loses to all of the Sonic. Even Tsunade would probably beat him. So yeah, Pain Arc Kakashi did okay against Tendo. He was already fatigued from using Almighty Push or Shinra Tensei. So he's inferior to a fatigued Pain, who was significantly fatigued, I'd argue, at that point. If they're fighting the whole village for some time. Jiraiya beat 3 Pain by himself. I mean, they were weaker than Tendo, but still. I still think he's inferior to Jiraiya at that point. So yeah, he would lose to Jiraiya, he would lose to Orochimaru, and highly likely lose to Tsunade, full power, base. So yeah. All right, folks. I think it's gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys coming in. All the donations. Maybe I'll come with more topics, so I could talk about more topics. Of course, if you have any other topic recommendations, they don't have to be anime based. Let me know in the comments